So effective block walking, and I'm a precinct chair in Fort Bend County. Definitions for the presentation, because sometimes definitions are different. Community, this means your entire precinct. Okay, neighborhood, a subset of the community, and you'll understand what I mean in a little bit, what I mean that. In planned communities, these have monuments to show neighborhood name, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Examples are Fox Bend at Sawmill Lake, Commander's Point at Waters Lake, Sienna Acreage Estates. These are all areas where I live and in my precinct. The neighborhoods are discrete groups of streets, usually one way in and one way out. So it's easy to go block walk because you just follow the streets. Block walking strategies, no doubling back, are easily noted by looking at the street configurations and a bit of planning. So usually, let's see, go this way? Yeah, okay. All right, so let me just go through objectives first before I get to details. Timely block walking. From when the school starts back in the fall, mid-August, until about October 1st is the time to block walk. It may be a little bit later now since we're having early voting a little bit later, but when early voting was about the middle of October, people's minds were made up by early October. So, okay? So yes, by the start of early voting, people's minds were made up. So I tried to always go before early voting. And also, I didn't know who voted early voting. Oh, you can find out. So I would run into that. I already voted and all that kind of stuff. So I try to do that. Block walking by neighborhoods. Okay, since my precinct has 9,000 voters and is growing, I try to get neighborhood captains organize their neighborhoods with as many or few block walkers as desired. So where I live, in my particular neighborhood with a monument, there's 300 houses. Yes, I can do the whole 300 houses, but I also have tried to get people trained to do portion of it, okay? So, because you need to develop relationships with voters, which is best done face to face. Best way of talking to voters, okay? Many seeing fewer homes is preferred to minimizing the work and maximizing relationships, because relationships, when you talk to somebody, you don't like the war in Israel, or you don't like the insurance rates in houses in Brazoria County, or whatever, it makes more impact than if it's by an email or a text message, okay? 100% coverage. I try to get 100% coverage of all the houses. Now, I split the houses up by, and you'll see how I do that in a little bit, strong Republicans, weak Republicans, independents, and maybe weak Democrats. The strong Democrats who voted the last 3 or 4 precincts as in primaries as a Democrat, I believe that they're going to vote Democrat. Doesn't matter what I tell them or if I come to see them. But if they voted Democrat in one of the last 4 primaries, I might go see them because they may vote Republican. Organization size. The larger the organization that you make as a precinct chair to put together to talk to people in your precinct, the smaller the number of people each individual person has to see. Better for relationships, okay? Okay, a current list of voters for block walking is a must, okay? A script. You are selling, influencing, and maybe changing people's minds, so you have to have some sort of script to start with, okay? Attention getting. Always address respectfully by name. I know from when, and I'll show you the precinct, the voter list in a minute, I know that Mr. Smith lives at 621 Main Street. And I will go to the door and knock on the door and say, hello, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is not expecting me to know Mr. Smith, his name. So I get his attention because I have taken the time to know his name. Okay? So there it is, okay? And even teenagers. Now, if it's a little kid, I ask for your mom and dad because that's fine. But if it's if I think it's a teenager, I also will also address them by Miss, Mrs., or Mr., depending on what it is, okay? Because I want to be respectful to people. Because if I'm respectful for people, they're respectful back to me. And if I smile to people, they'll smile back to me. Okay? So messaging, short, sweet, to the point. Key facts, ideas, or catchphrases that have proven success. We'll go through some of them later in the presentation. Okay? Feedback on what works is desired. So if you found that talking to people about what the Democrats are doing with women in women's sports by allowing men in women's sports, that resonates with people, then you need to tell that to every one of your other precincts, like in this meeting. This is the thing that's resonating with people, okay? So the message needs to get out, okay? So my scripts, my script suggestions are a starting point. They should be tailored and targeted to your voters, and I will show you examples of them, okay? A closing. You're there to sell something, them to vote for Republicans, okay? Close by asking for their vote. Short conversations are good. Don't let them go for more than 5 minutes. You've got other people to see and sell to, okay? You can come back at some point in time if you really want to talk about Alabama football to the guy at whatever, okay? All right, so, okay. So where I live, I walked through my precinct, or drove through my precinct, and I discovered that all neighborhoods begin with a monument, and there's an in and out, and that's usually the only in and out to neighborhoods in the streets in that neighborhood. So that's how I've organized the precinct. So if I get a voter, if I get a precinct chair in that, a Republican voter in that particular neighborhood, and he or she wants to block walk, then I give them the names of those people in that neighborhood. So it's their neighbors. They see them most of the time, so that's the best way I can do it. So I listed all neighborhoods by monument in my precinct so I can get it organized, okay? I listed the streets and the neighborhoods by name. Why? I will use the community walk by street and provide it to neighborhood captains. So I will show you that in a minute. Walk lists are odd, even by street. This way you go down the odd streets and you come back up the even streets, and there's no back and across the streets, okay? It's most effective way of block walking. It minimizes the number of steps that you have to take, okay? Oh, I did that. Right, an example is helpful, okay? Possible walk lists. This is where you can get them. Instead of Fort Bend County, Brazoria County, I would think you could get a walk list, okay? I go into Fort Bend County, I said I want a walk list for Precinct 2118, and I pay a little bit of money, and I get a printed copy. I want a paper copy. I can get an electronic copy, whatever. You can get either one you want. There's a Campaign Sidekick Act. There's Russ Long List, who is in Paris County, gave a list. There's the Advantage app. There's other apps. You can use whatever you like. Okay? I will show you a paper app, but you can use whatever app you like. All right? So, all right. All right. I believe that it's easier to do a paper list, but then I'm old, so not the youngest person in the world. Okay. Here's a list. Okay? Fort Bend County Walk Link, Precinct 1097. This is next to my precinct, but it's the one I had put out together. So let me just go through all these things. Here's the odd number of the houses. Odd. Here's the even number of the houses. Okay. In Cobble Creek Way, there's only odd number houses. In Cornwell, there's even and a few odd ones. Okay. Here's the name of the voter. You get the last name, first name. You get to know if they're female or male. You get to know when they registered, how long they've been a voter. You get to know what their birthday is, how old they are. So here's somebody who's pretty old, 41. Here's somebody in 2001, pretty young, okay? I'm sorry if I stepped on anybody's toes. Sorry, okay. ID number, state ID number, the VU ID number. Now, the next part is the important part. 1118, 11 November 18, 2018. Okay, that's the code up there, okay? P318. Primary, March 2018. And then I got 11/16, so November 2016, primary, March 2016, and for 4 Novembers and 4 primary voters, okay? Now, on the primary, you can see we have D and R. D means they voted in a Democrat primary, R means they voted in a Republican primary, okay? E means they voted early, A means they voted absentee, and P means they voted at the polls. Okay? So let's take these people here. These people have, in the last 4 elections, they voted Democrat twice. So they're more likely to, especially since they voted Democrat in the most recent one, they're most likely going to vote Democrat. I am not going to go see that house. Okay? Here, some Republicans, okay? These voted, these are very strong Republicans. But these people, I would, they're also pretty on the elderly side, excuse me. So careful there. I know. I'm 72 as well, so that's okay. So so I'm speaking that too. All right. But what I like to do is I like to engage people as to whether they want to engage in the party politics. Okay. So that's a consideration as well as other things. Okay. So here's a 1D. Here's 1R. So you can see this is a list that you can get. And then you can identify those people who voted in the Republican primary, those people who you might be able to get to block walk for you to help you out, those people who definitely want to see on, for example, school board elections where the voting is very small, so you know what to do. And you can also tell that here are some people here that didn't vote in any primary, so they're independent. So in a primary like 2024, where we need every vote, I'm going to go see those people because I don't know who they are. Okay? So let's see. Please, after every slide, if there's questions, I'll take them. So, okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, please.
For your larger precincts, like
Yeah.
a lot of mine is rural.
Yes.
And there's no block walking, and there's gates.
Correct.
So what do?
There are gates in my community too, and sometimes the gates have, yes, you'd have to drive your car to because of that. Yes, I understand that. That's true. So that's something that's more difficult in a rural area. That's correct. Yeah.
Do you sleep?
Yes, I do.
With 9,000 people.
Well, so I'm retired. I've been retired for a while, and I do walk. Okay, I will get to when I block walk and how much I block walk. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Okay. Okay, now let's see. We went the wrong way, huh? Okay, so I think I went through this. Okay, D is Democrat, R is Republican, absentee, early voting, in-person voting, etc. And your Brazoria County elect should have the same type of description. Here's my neighborhood. So I grew up in neighborhoods like this. Okay, this is the neighborhood I live in actually, and you can see many of the streets. And yes, there's a lot of walking for me. Yes, but there are 43 neighborhoods. Those are some examples. Thus, I would like to see 43 precinct captains. In other words, those in each one of those neighborhoods. But if not, I will do them. Okay, so. Some neighbors have a few streets and a small number of houses. For example, this one has 26 houses and 3 streets. Not hard to walk, really, okay? It'd take you half an hour, 45 minutes. That's about it, one time, okay? However, this is where I live, Steep Bank West, and there are 305 houses. And this will take me a couple of days to walk, okay? And you can see that I don't want to go through the names of the streets, but just to give you an idea. What happened? Okay, so here's another one that has 50 houses. So here I even give Bobby Everly, our Fort Bend County chair, like Shane. He's in my district, and I assign him stuff too. So I get him to work too. So okay, and he does it. Okay, so what I provide to the precinct chairs. So this is important. Okay. I provide a tailored walk list for their neighborhood. You saw, I circled all the streets. I get a whole list. It's alphabetical by streets. I pull all the streets out. I make copies of them on my computer. I put it together alphabetically for them. I send them out with that. So I get a tailored walk list. A count of the houses we're contemplating visiting, all the R's, independent voters, and those with D or 1 or 2 D's. And then I put packets of push cards from all the candidates. So I have to know who is running on the ballot, and I have to interface with all the candidates and say, okay, Laura Richards, I need 4,000 push cards from you. Bill Rickard, I need 4,000 push cards from you. And they give them to me, okay, because they know that I block walk, and I will get the literature out, okay? But you have to go and ask them. Now, I will say at one point in time, and this is that when Rick Miller was not to push Rick Miller per se, but he did it, when Rick Miller was leading the Fort Bend County Party, he had all the precinct chairs given all this stuff. Today, we as precinct chairs have to do all this stuff. Okay? So I get candidates, I get a script, okay? I instruct them for knock walking on doors, I give them all this stuff, time to block walk. Weekdays, 1 to 5. Okay? Saturdays, 11 to 5. Sundays, 2 to 5. I never walk in church, okay? I never block walk in evenings because of me and the voter. I never walk on the evenings, okay? 5 o'clock comes, that's dinner hours after that. I may go 5:15 if I have a few houses left, but not after that, okay? Okay, so the process. Ring the doorbell or knock on the door. Back off beyond the porch so it does not look intimidating to the homeowner. 10 to 12 feet is a good distance, okay? Because I don't want to go right up to the door And I open the door and maybe I go rush into them. I don't want them to see that. I don't want them to have that. I want to back off so that they feel safe and secure that they can come to the door, at least stick their head out and find out what I want. Okay? Wait for 15 seconds. If they don't come in about 15 seconds, they're not coming. Okay? If I see motion in the house, I try not to look in the house, but if you get to see with your peripheral vision a little bit of motion, I may wait a few more seconds. Okay? If no answer, walk back to the door, leave the package of the literature on the doorknob. Because I buy plastic bags that have little holes in them and I put them on the doorknob. Okay? Walk away. Always use sidewalk and never go over the grass. Always respect their property. Okay? Because you never know who's looking. They may not even come. They may look. They may not come to the door. They want to know how respectful you are of their property. Okay? Because you left literature. You're a Republican. You're not respectful for my property? No. Always be respectful of their property. Okay? Okay, if they come to the door as you're walking, we'll listen to see if they invite you or engage with you. If not, just keep walking away, because sometimes they do that. Okay? Sometimes people are home and wish not to answer the door. Okay, Siena has a no soliciting policy, but you can walk to anyone's door and talk about political and hand out political literature. There's no law against it. You can do that. And don't let anyone tell you there isn't. I've had people come to tell me, I'm going to get the police on you, and I tell them, this is allowed. I'm allowed to do this, okay? And no one has, they threatened me to do that, but they haven't done that, okay? It's always allowed to do that. Okay, so, Fort Bend ISD script. This is actually use this script. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. My name is Bill Mitchie, and I'm asking you to vote for David Hamilton, position 7, and Rick Garcia, position 3 for Fort Bend ISD School Board on May 7th. They are conservatives who insist on equal opportunities for all students in all schools across all interests. The goal is to encourage, support, and challenge all students to excel their God-given talents in their field of interest, to become valuable and respectable citizens in our community where all prosper. Students first always, vote Hamilton and Garcia. That's about as long as it can get. Okay, that's a little bit longer one, but that worked. Okay? So you can see there's a little bit of information there. And then if they want to engage you, engage them for a short period of time. Okay? For Republicans, so if you know, so I am your name, Republican Party neighborhood captain. I'm here requesting you to come out to vote Republican. So you want even higher gasoline prices, higher inflation, a continued invasion of the southern border, Supreme Court justices who can't define the word woman, men allowed in women's sports, energy policy that stops energy production domestically and begs the rest of the world to produce more and funds Russia's war, because they did. All right, and increasing regulations or bungling everything they touch, which they do. We must have 100% voting participation from Republicans. So these are people who are friendly to you, okay? So if you have a problem getting to the polls, let me know, and I'll arrange for some assistance. Okay, for independent voters, it's pretty much the same thing, but there's questions. You ask the questions. How do you like the direction of the nation in Fort Bend County? Do you like this? Okay, the same type of wording here. Okay, if they answer no, tell them it's time to vote Republican. Instruct them that information on what the D's and R's stand for and is in the packet of information. Okay, because in Fort Bend County we have what D's stand for and what R's stand for, and we can put it in the packet. They may have the same thing in this county too. Okay. Positive response should be followed up and offer to get help to the polls. Okay? Okay. Now, for a Democrat voter, sometimes when you walk, so I want to take a little bit here. When you walk up to a house, you're assessing that house. Okay? Do they have a sign? Let's go, Brandon. Okay. I know that's a familiar, I want to see that person. Okay? Okay? All right, you got it all. That's it. You got it. Okay. Okay. Or if they have that they're interested in about their children. Okay? That's a good sign too. If their house is kept up, that's a good sign. Okay? If they have, let's vote for Joe Biden sign, I'm not going to go see the house, okay? But I'm just saying. But I'm assessing everything, all information I can get about the house that I'm walking up to. I'm looking at everything. I'm trying to assess, are they going to be, because I don't know if they're Republican or Democrat, are they going to be a Republican or are they going to be a Democrat? And I usually can do a pretty good job of it. Not all the time, but I can usually do a pretty good job of it. And when you walk around, you will learn how to assess who's a Republican, who's a Democrat from their house and the things that they have around their house. But you can do it. Okay? Okay, so then in this case, if I see they may have children go to parochial school, so they have a Christian background. So I may, and I may know, okay, they have a 1D. I may go see them. Okay, so I'm asking you to, so again, who I am, so they know. Okay, I'm asking you to come out to vote. Wouldn't you love a political party that governs by biblical principles? Okay, now I'm doing a little bit different tact on them because I know that may not be friendly Republican voters. Okay, pro-life, pro-family, pro-opportunity, pro-women, nationalism, etc. Or do you like a political party that wants abortion, pushes God out of school, allow the men to think their women participate in women's sports, and are for globalism? Those things I found kind of connect with people. You may find something else that connects with people. Use it or not use it. Okay? All right, wait for them to make their choice. And if it takes 10 seconds or 15 seconds, wait. Time is on your side. They will fill the void. They will make some response. Okay? You have to be patient. Okay? The choice. So then you need to then say, look, the choice is clear. The Republican stands for what you stand for, if that's what they come out to. They like all this stuff. Okay? Maybe you then convince them at least to think about the Republican Party. Maybe you convince them to vote Republican. Vote your principles. Vote Republican. Thanks. Okay? So thanks. Be respectful to people. Okay? For general Democrat or even independent voters in general, try to find some script on some hot button issues that are like maybe the war in Israel right now. That's a hot button issue. Okay? In the news, that's a clear choice. Okay? In other words, so I have a couple things here. Wouldn't you love a political party that considers all energy sources and your right to choose what you like? Okay, maybe you like solar energy. Maybe you like, fossil fuels. Maybe you like nuclear energy. But all right, that support parental rights to know what their children are being taught. This is a big hot topic issue, right? Okay, allows women to compete against other women in women's sports, because the Democrats are for the other way around. The Republicans are not. So you can see, and then some other topics that are interest neutral, you can figure them out as you do that. A year from now is a long time for topics. So wait for them to make your choice. Silence is on your phone. People will fill the void, okay? And if they respond positively, you say, I represent a party that represents what you want. Okay? Get them to think about it. They don't vote Democrat by rote, okay? Think about why they're voting. Have them think about it, okay? Okay, so take a second look. Vote your principles, vote Republican. Thanks. Okay? So, why do I provide all this? To make it easier to volunteer to conduct block walking, okay? Most of us have not block walked. I block walked for 10, 12 years. Most of us have fear or trepidation to block walk. I did when I started. Okay? All will be volunteers. They'll be doing something else that's more fun. Sometimes not. Sometimes I got people that really like to do this. Okay? Thus, they're given all the resources needed to successfully block walk, so they have no excuse. Okay? Okay. They also offer to provide on-the-job training, where you knock on the first 10 doors so that they can take over and do the rest. I haven't had anybody take me up on this, but I will do that. Okay? I'll help them out. All right? The activation energy of Black Walk is now minimized to just doing it. They have all the resources, they got the list, they have trained, everything else. Okay, so there are no excuses, and then usually I get people to block walk for me. Okay, and if all else fails, tell them if they like the Biden, the socialist, the dictator, because that's what he is. Okay, communist government that we have today, and if you would like more of it, then don't block walk. All right, let the Democrats win. I hope that's not going to happen, but you got my point. Okay? Push card content. Push cards identifying the candidate, his or her family, and some nice platitudes are nice, but these are not as effective as to tell the voter what candidate stands for and what he or she intends to do to correct when elected. Now, this is about candidates. Candidates write different push cards all the time. Okay? In other words, what is the candidate going to do for the voter? And how will the voter know what the candidate has or is now doing? Okay? So, gone are the days when we say Republicans and we win. They're gone. The Democrats are coming after every county in Texas. Okay? The candidates must engage every voter and get them to vote for them based on how they make their voters' lives better. So this is how you can interact with candidates when they come. Okay? If we agree, then all of us as precinct chairs need to send a message to our candidate that this is what we want from them, okay? So let's see. Concluding remarks. We are in a battle for the heart and soul of America and for biblical principles on which it was founded. We need to engage as many people as possible and get the message out without censorship, because they can't censorship if I talk with you directly, okay? They can't do that, okay? There's no censorship, okay? Which means person-to-person relationships. Precinct chairs play a vital role in the proper functioning of any political party. The more effectively we work, the less work for any one person. So if you get more people in your organization, the less work you have to do. Okay? The message content must be on point, understood by all, and communicated effectively. Okay? Please, if you don't like exactly what I said, use something, and you find something else that works, use it. It's okay. Well, this isn't the Bible, okay? It is. If it's worked for me, it may not work in a year. Okay, whatever you want, whatever works for you, please use that. Okay, okay. But hot button issues brought to the forefront, and the messaging can be changed. Okay, it's needed. So if you go out for a few days and the messaging doesn't seem to connect, think about it. Maybe you talk with Shane or somebody, and what other messages do I have? Can I get other messages? And then I make new messages. Maybe they connect. And then share that with your other fellow precinct chairs, okay? We must close the sale by asking for their vote. Always ask for their vote. Vote Republican, okay? Most importantly, we must pray that God will be our guide in the whole operation for His glory, honor, and majesty.
Amen.
Not ours.
Amen.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Questions? Yeah.
Can we get a copy of this stuff?
He has a copy of it. Yes.
I'm making a video. I've got the slides. I will get those out.
Okay. So, however you like. Okay.
If we don't want to watch the video, can you, the PowerPoint, you can just like post that somewhere?
The PowerPoint's going to be posted,
Okay.
but I'm not going to type out his words for you.
Okay.
No, it's just some of those scripts that you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
are excellent.
Okay.
And,
Thank you.
I'm sitting in the back and I can't see it very well.
Uh-huh.
But I really want to have the music
Sure.
that's in it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I made it available to you. It's for you to use. It's not copyrighted by me. Nothing. All I want is that Republicans win. Period. Okay. Amen. Okay. Yes.
So when
Real
you
Republicans.
Huh?
when you block
Real Republicans.
Yeah. Not rhinos. Yeah. Right. I understand. But go
when
ahead.
you block walk this time of year, so this isn't an election year.
Right.
We're really, in my opinion, in election season all the time,
Yeah.
but we've got a primary coming up, and then we'll have candidates that we block walk for. What do you do? Do you block walk at all this time of year?
So this particular year, I have not block walk because there's only propositions. Okay. So now I run a Republican club, so I will get information from propositions and send it out to the people who are my member of my club. Okay, but I did not block walk this year for propositions. Yeah. So.
Do you block walk to register voters? Do you do anything with voter registration in your precinct?
I have not. I have taken. Yeah, that's a very good question. I have taken voter registration cards around from time to time, but that requires a little bit different strategy because it's now, is that house on my list? Okay, if that house isn't on my list, then I should go to the house and say, offer them a voter registration card. Yes. So yes, that is a possibility based on the list that you get, and as you walk around, it is a possibility to do that. Typically, I find that in my neighborhood, most every house has a registered voter, so I have not had to do that. But it is a great suggestion to do, and I agree with that. Yes. I think you had another question.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier that if someone needed a ride to
Mhm.
the
Right.
polls,
Right.
do you give them your personal phone number or do you direct it to another entity?
Well, I give him my business card, which yeah. So I'll give them my personal information on my business card. I think my phone number is on there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I haven't had anybody take me up on that, but yeah, I will do that. So the Democrats do that.
Yes.
We need to do what the Democrats do to get voters to the polls. So we need to be friendly to voters and do that. Okay. So yeah. Thank you for that question. Excellent question. Yes. Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah. You. Mhm.
Yes, as you, from your experience, as you block walk, how do you handle unruly varmints that come after you?
22. I mean vinegar and water. Vinegar and water.
Okay. That's a good question, and I don't think I can answer that because I haven't had that experience. So, once in a while a dog will come out, but other than that, I haven't had anything else happen to me. I realize that it may happen here in Brazoria County, so I don't know. I'd have to wait to see what the moment would be like. So, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I can answer your question. Say again? Yes, please.
What about apartment complexes?
Okay, that's a very good question, and there is no apartment complexes in my precinct, so I don't have experience with that. Yes, but that is a very good question. I would have to think about it some more. I don't know. Maybe we all can think about it a little bit. So, but I don't know.
Would probably,
Yeah.
you may have to ask, and the manager, is this allowed? I would,
Yeah.
or does that fall under that other one about we have the freedom to
Yeah, I don't know, because it's a good question, because whether you're allowed to go to everybody's apartment or not, if they're outside doors, I think it might be a little easier. If it's an inside door, then you have to have access to, and you may not be allowed to do that. So I don't, so it's a little bit more difficult, yes, to do that, yes. I'm just telling you, I have not experienced walking an apartment, so I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah.
That kind of thing with apartments or ministries, in general, it is legal,
Mhm.
but you have to, if somebody puts a sign on their door,
Right.
no soliciting, you don't knock on that door.
Right.
So, generally speaking, if you go to the management, no matter what,
Uh-huh.
and say, this is what I'd like to do, and just work with them, let them know up front,
Okay.
that works best.
Well, that's a great answer. So thank you very much. Yeah. Other questions? I think I've used my time up, right? Yes. Go ahead.
Do you happen to have meetings with your block captains, area captains, whatever?
I haven't had meetings. Yeah. That's a good question. Get them all together. I haven't had meetings. I usually have just one-on-one discussions with people. So, yeah. But I have thought of that, but I don't get enough people all together all one time to do that. It just end up being one-on-one discussions with people. Yeah. So, one last comment. I think this is valuable information. This information shouldn't get to Democrats. So, be considerate of that. Think about that so that it doesn't get to the Democrats. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.